Hey Japan fans, this is Johnsensei from the Consulate-General of Japan in Nashville, behind the camera with another book review from one of the items in our library. We do have an extensive library of books, DVDs, Blu-rays that you can borrow our items for up to 2 weeks at a time. There's just a short form to fill out, ask someone about it at the windows, or you can browse and flip through the books as you wait in the lobby for your appointment. And every year when I pick out the books, I like to add one history book. So last year the book that I added was an illustrated guide to samurai history and culture. And I learned a lot from this book. I read it back to back, read all the captions, read all the text. So I'm a pretty big Japanese language nerd. And one of the first things I learned right at the beginning was the origin of the word samurai. Actually comes from a verb, samurau. And those of you studying Japanese, maybe you've learned your verb conjugations. So samurau, meaning to serve by someone's side, or you can conjugate that samuraimasu or samurai. So that's the origin of the word, but it's actually more of a modern word than you would think. Back in the day, they were actually referred to as bushi, which means warriors. And speaking of learning Japanese language, I also liked just using this book as a vocabulary list. There's a lot of interesting vocabulary for the different weapons, or in this case, parts of swords like tsuba for the hand guards that you see pictured right here. And you've got the kanji character that you can study and add to your deck of flashcards. And also just these high quality photographs. I mean, look at these suits of armor and these photos. Now, I've read all these captions, and what I found interesting was that a lot of these displays of this actual samurai armor, they're in all parts of the world. They're all throughout Asia and Europe, so you would have to visit dozens of museums around the world to be able to see all these armor and weapons that are on display, or these woodblock prints. It's fascinating that, you know, a lot of these suits of armor were preserved throughout the ages. Another thing I thought was fascinating, as you learn about the history of the samurai in the book, you'll learn that in the Meiji era, in the late 1800s, during the Meiji Restoration, the samurai class was abolished as a social class that it had been for centuries. Also, carrying swords was outlawed unless someone was a soldier or police officer. So you're thinking the late 1800s. That's also in the 1800s, you have the invention of photography as a technology and its introduction to Japan. And thanks to that, we have these actual photographs from the final days of the samurai. And this set, interesting enough, a female samurai. Also, like I said, a lot of really high resolution images of classic woodblock prints and drawings and paintings from the actual time of the samurai. This one depicts the famous story of the 47 Ronin. And again, I really like this actual photograph. This is a photograph of real-life samurai in the Satsuma province, which was famous for the Satsuma Rebellion. So the book, goes through all about the samurai history and culture and their weapons, and then traces that to the influence of samurai on modern popular culture and modern media like film and television and so forth. And so, of course, cover all the classic Japanese films by directors like Akira Kurosawa. My favorite part in this section was this photo right here. This is from the Akira Kurosawa film Throne of Blood in 1957. And this actor, Toshiro Mifune, the caption highlights right here, this scene, he's being shot at with arrows. And that's likely not acting, that fear on his face. He was being shot at with real arrows by real archery students from a local university. I also thought, it was great that the book also did recognize your sort of modern Hollywood films like Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai, or Keanu Reeves in the 47 Ronin movie. I've actually seen this movie. I watched it more as a Keanu Reeves fan than as a Japan fan. As big as this book is, and as small as the text may look, I actually, I was able to get through it in just a few days. It did not take long to read at all, and was highly informative. So I think if you want to read and learn about samurai history, this is a great book to read from cover to cover, like I did. Or if you just want to flip through the pictures while you're waiting for your appointment here, that's fine too. So an illustrated guide to samurai history and culture is in our library. You can check it out. You can read it. And hey, speaking of samurai, who are some of your favorite samurai from history or some of your favorite stories? We've talked about 47 Ronin, but there's a lot of great stories from this history. So what are some of your favorites? Let us know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.